Do you bleed purple and black as much as we do? Then make sure you're locked in, because today we're diving headfirst into the Ravens joint practice with the Colts, and spoiler alert, it was a real mixed bag. If I had to slap a grade on that session, high expectations on one side, a scrappy opponent on the other, I'd land right in the middle with a solid C. There were flashes of the Ravens we know and love, veteran savviness saving the day here and there, but there were also those May moments, the kind that leave you scratching your head and wondering if these youngsters are truly ready for prime time. When you're a veteran, you can afford to pace yourself a bit and trust your experience if you're still trying to earn your roster spot, though every snap counts. And at times during that camp scrimmage, the rookies looked like they wished they were anywhere else. Overall, it never quite reached the level of intensity I was craving. Sure, nobody's head exploded, nobody looked completely lost, but it all felt a tad too comfortable, like playing schoolyard ball instead of the hard-hitting NFL grind. Folks who were there or tuned into the instant reaction shows kept echoing the same sentiment. There was good, there was bad, and a whole lot in between. Even against the Colts squad that's expected to be a notch below Baltimore's title, hopes the Ravens didn't exactly steamroll. Now I know everyone's buzzing about that scuffle involving Nate Wiggins. Apparently on special teams, a Colts player threw an extra shove after the whistle, and our rookie cornerback, Ever the Protector, sprinted in with haymaker intentions, uppercuts and all. It was pure raw emotion. Wiggins got the boot for the altercation, and so did Colt defensive back Juju Goodson. Harbaugh himself confirmed it afterward, calling it a learning moment. Throw a punch, you're out. No ifs, ands, or buts. From where I was sitting, all I saw was the initial collision, officers going at it, and then a mass of purple and blue bodies tumbling into the end zone like the final moments of a Royal Rumble match. Seemed like all 180 participants, players, coaches, assistants, descended as one. It was chaotic, it was wild, and it was honestly kind of hilarious watching some guys on the outskirts debating whether to join the fray or stand back with their arms crossed. If I'd been security, I'd have snatched the kid up before he even made it 5 yards. But hey, when you suit up for joint practice, you know things might get chippy. Peeling back from the dust up, let's talk football. The Ravens offense had rhythm in spurts. We saw Lamar execute some gorgeous throws, threading the needle downfield, hitting contested targets with precision. Mark Andrews found the end zone, and some of those play-action fakes had Colts defenders leaning the wrong way. Yet on the flip side, pass protection wobbled more than once. The line that spent training camp clicking together still looked a step slow at times, giving rushers lanes to the quarterback that simply can't happen come week one. And those deep shots that landed inches behind an open receiver, if you're Jamar Chase or a polished pro, those don't get dropped. They are 6 points. Instead, the ball clanged off outstretched arms, leaving us a little underwhelmed considering the caliber of talent up front. Defensively, Indianapolis had their moments too. They fought to reclaim momentum after the Ravens' hot start stuffing runs in the box and breaking on the ball in coverage. That back and forth is what made the practice feel less like a blowout. Tune-up and more like a true test. It's preseason, sure, but the Ravens roster is loaded, their Super Bowl aspirations sky high, and yet they match the middle-of-the-pack Colts squad play for play. It underscores the gap they need to close to meet those lofty goals. Back to special teams, because that's where most of the fireworks flew. Cover units were flying. Downfield, gunner battles look downright mean, and you get why Wiggins lit. Into that pile. These aren't just weird formations in practice. Each tackle, each block is a chance to show coaches you deserve to make the 52. Yet you also saw how officials manage those reps. Some punches get ignored, others earn you a trip to the bench. Discipline matters, and those mishaps served as a reminder. Before we move on to the winners and losers segment, here's the takeaway. This Ravens team clearly wants that edge. They're hungry, they're physical, and they've got players willing to stick up for one another. But there's also work to be done. Polish needed in protection schemes, sharper ball skills, and a consistency that refuses to waver. And hey, if you're young and trying to make your mark, it's not enough to merely survive. You've got to thrive. That attitude would define who makes the cut and who doesn't once the pads come on for real. Stay tuned, because next up we're breaking down who stood tall and who stumbled in that joint session, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. You ever wonder what separates those who seize the moment from those who merely survive it? Well, after that back and forth war of attrition against the Colts, you got a crystal clear picture of exactly who raised their hand and who needs to go back to the drawing board. Take Charlie Kolar, for instance. This guy went from fringe candidate to can't-miss contributor in about 50 snaps. Watching him snag a seam route with the kind of hands that could catch a falling star and then turn on the burners weaving. Through would-be tacklers, as if he'd memorized every linebacker's weaknesses, was a revelation. It wasn't just the highlight reel grab, it was the way he kept his balance fighting off two defenders, dragging both 5 yards after the catch, reminding everyone that this tight end room isn't just Mark Andrews and a bunch of guys waiting in the wings. Kolar's emergence gives the Ravens an X factor in the middle of the field, someone who can exploit mismatches in two tight end sets or as a shift release threat against man coverage. And let's be honest, when your backup starts looking like he's eyeing the Pro Bowl, it speaks volumes about how deep this roster truly is. Then there was Mike Green making that defensive end spot his personal showcase. You might remember Green as the rookie who flashed during the offseason but hadn't quite put it all together under lights. Well, on Tuesday he did. There was one sequence where he beat his man 4 times in a row, dip rip swim club. Each moved sharper than the last each punch to the chest, pushing the Colts tackle backward into his own quarterback. It was pure pass rush theater, and the audience loved every second. Even on plays where he didn't get to Jackson, his pressure forced quick throws, hurried reads, and tipped passes. In an era where sacks get all the headlines consistent, pressure is the silent killer, and Green delivered it in spades. If you're penciling in your Week 1 starters, you better carve out a permanent spot for number 91. Special teams also had its breakout stars. Tyler Lockett. Sorry, Tyler Lockett is a Seahawk. I mean Tyler Lockett, the rookie long. Snapper, or rather Tyler Loop, the kicker, went 7 for 7 on field goals, ranging from 28 to 55 yards. For someone who's still fighting job security jitters, nailing that many attempts in hostile joint practice conditions, wind swirling from every direction, a crowd of Colts defenders trying to distract him, is nothing short of remarkable. Each kick was a lesson in calm under pressure, every split second of pre-snap composure, a reminder that this team's kicking game could be the difference in tight contests come fall. And don't sleep on the coverage units either. Gunner battles on punts looked more like heavyweight prize fights than practice drills with Joker Phillips and Vernon Davis, no relation to the 2014 tight end, sprinting down the field, wrapping up return men with textbook tackling form. Those aren't just exercises, those hit state claims. And every time a guy sticks a block or howls in celebration after downing a returner at the 20-yard line, you know the coaches are checking that bottle rocket next to his name on their spreadsheet. On the defensive back end, Brandon Stevens had himself a day too. He shadowed the Colts' best receiver, mirroring cuts and breaking on the ball with the sort of timing that comes from watching film until your eyes bleed. One moment in particular stands out on a third and long. The Colts dialed up a corner post route that should have been automatic 6 points. But Stevens undercut it by reading the quarterback's eyes, sliding into position and poking the ball free, just as the receiver extended his arms. That hustle and hit play and the recovery that followed reminded everyone that the Ravens secondary isn't just about lockdown skill, it's about playing every snap with a motor that never quits. Of course, for every shining light, there was a shadow waiting to be illuminated. The offensive line, for all its preseason hype, looked shaky at times. Against a Colts front that the experts pegged as a middling unit, the Ravens gave up more pressures than you'd expect from a team that prides itself on protecting its franchise quarterback. There was one drive where Jackson threw 3 consecutive off-platform passes, not because he was seeing ghosts, but because he was getting mugged in his own pocket. Those split-second delays, just enough for a defensive tackle to swat the throw, off target, hampered what should have been a smooth drive-extending series. And when you're aiming for the Super Bowl, adequate protection simply won't cut it. The rookie corners also had mixed results. Joey Blount flashed the kind of quick-twitch recovery speed that makes scouts salivate, but on one rep he got caught peeking at the backfield, only to be left trailing by a head start that the Colts slot receiver turned into a 15-yard gain. Rookie life can be brutal one play, you're the hero, the next, you're the GOAT. It will be fascinating to see who adapts fastest, who polishes those rough edges, and who remains stuck replaying bad tapes in the film room. And then there were the wide receivers who simply disappeared when it mattered most. A few of the younger pass catchers ran the wrong routes on critical downs, either due to miscommunication with the quarterback or pre-snap confusion about coverage calls. Those mental errors showed up as broken plays, passes sailing into empty grass, and drives stalling before they even had a chance to begin. In an offense as timing-based as this, one-route precision isn't optional. It's a lifeline. But let's not kid ourselves. This was practice. Mess-ups are expected, even welcome, because they reveal where the bolts need tightening before the engine explodes onto the regular season stage. What stood out most wasn't the mistakes themselves, but the way players responded afterward. You saw guys clapping for each other when a teammate made a play, offering pats on the helmet after a nice breakup in coverage, and nodding in the huddle when a veteran barked an adjustment. That camaraderie is the secret sauce, the intangible glue, binding talent to execution. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a roster brimming with promise, fueled by young stars ascending and veterans refusing to fade quietly. It leaves us with glaring question marks along the front five and in the rookie rotation, but it also leaves us with reason for optimism, knowing that harsh truths learned in August practices can become hard-earned victories in January playoffs. As pads come on this week and stakes climb ever higher, the Ravens will carry with them the lessons of that joint practice, the triumphs to build on the failures to eradicate, and above all, the knowledge that every snap, every block, every tackle matters when you're chasing greatness. The road to the Super Bowl is paved with mixed bags like this one, but what sets champions apart is their ability to turn those patchwork performances into polished masterpieces when the lights shine brightest. And if history's any guide, this team will find a way. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In a move that has sent shockwaves throughout the NFL and sports media across the United States, the Baltimore Ravens have reportedly made a surprising acquisition, capturing the attention of fans and analysts alike. Rumors are swirling that the Ravens have managed to secure the services of AMON-RA St. Brown, the standout German-American wide receiver currently with the Detroit Lions. This potential trade or signing is stirring considerable speculation regarding its implications for both franchises and the league as a whole. St. Brown, who has rapidly established himself as one of the most promising young talents in the league, has dazzled audiences with his route-running precision, exceptional hands, and relentless work ethic. The possibility of him switching teams, especially to a high-profile contender like Baltimore, raises questions about how this move might reshape offensive strategies and team dynamics. The news has ignited a flurry of discussions across sports, talk shows, social media platforms, and expert commentaries as many try to dissect what this means for the Ravens' receiving core and their overall championship aspirations. With Baltimore's reputation for aggressive roster moves and bold gambles, this rumored acquisition could mark a new chapter for the franchise, further intensifying the competitive landscape of the NFL. Adding to the intrigue of this development is the international aspect that surrounds AMON-RA St. Brown, a player born in Germany who has carved a unique path in American football. His journey from Munich to the NFL has been inspirational, showcasing a blend of cultural diversity and athletic excellence. The speculation that the Ravens could be investing in St. Brown not only highlights his individual talents, but also signals the growing global influence within the sport. Analysts are pondering how his background and skill set could mesh with Baltimore's offensive scheme, which has traditionally emphasized a physical and versatile approach. There's talk that the Ravens are looking to diversify their playbook by incorporating more dynamic receiving options, and St. Brown's addition could serve as the perfect catalyst for such a transformation. Fans of the Detroit Lions are reportedly dismayed by the potential loss of their star receiver, while Ravens supporters are buzzing with excitement over the prospect of a new weapon joining their ranks. The cross-continental narrative only adds layers to this rumor. painting a picture of the NFL as a truly global stage where talent transcends borders. From a strategic standpoint, the implications of AMON-RA St. Brown potentially joining the Ravens are vast and multifaceted. Baltimore's offense, led by a quarterback known for his improvisation and tactical intelligence, could benefit enormously from a receiver who excels in precise route running and yards after catch ability. Sports insiders speculate that the Ravens might be preparing to revamp their aerial attack to complement their historically strong rushing game. The chatter among coaches and pundits suggests that acquiring a player like St. Brown could diversify Baltimore's offensive threats, forcing opposing defenses to adapt and rethink their coverage schemes. This rumored acquisition also raises questions about the Lions' future offensive lineup, potentially signaling a rebuild or a shift in focus. The trade or signing could represent a strategic gamble for Baltimore, one that might pay off by elevating them to a top-tier offensive team capable of competing at the highest level. The buzz continues to grow as fans eagerly await confirmation. Debates rage over the potential price paid for St. Brown, and speculation mounts about how quickly he might integrate into the Ravens system. The human element behind this rumored transfer adds emotional weight to the unfolding story, capturing the imagination of fans and commentators alike. AMON-RA St. Brown's reputation extends beyond his on-field prowess. He is known for his leadership qualities, resilience, and commitment to community involvement. This potential move to Baltimore could offer a fresh start and new challenges that might elevate his career to even greater heights. Conversations within NFL circles hint that St. Brown's move could inspire younger athletes, especially those from international backgrounds, signaling that the league is becoming more inclusive and diverse. The buzz about his possible impact on team culture and locker room dynamics is just as intense as the speculation about his athletic contributions. The story also touches on the emotional aspect for the Detroit fan base, who might feel a sense of loss but also pride in watching one of their own attract national attention. If the rumors prove true, this transaction could be remembered not only for its tactical implications, but also as a moment that highlights the evolving nature of player movement and identity in the NFL. As the NFL offseason progresses, this rumored acquisition of AMON-RA St. Brown by the Baltimore Ravens remains one of the hottest topics dominating headlines and fan forums. The ongoing speculation underscores the high stakes involved in the league's trade market and how a single player can ignite widespread excitement and debate. Media outlets are dissecting every possible angle, from salary cap considerations to the fit within Baltimore's offensive strategy, while social media platforms buzz with predictions, mock drafts, and fantasy football analysis. The Ravens' willingness to pursue a star receiver of St. Brown's caliber suggests a clear intent to bolster their roster with proven talent capable of making an immediate impact. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions face the challenge of managing the fallout, potentially recalibrating their team philosophy as rumors continue to swirl. Whether this move materializes or remains in the realm of speculation, the story of AMON-RA St. Brown and the Ravens has already captured the imagination of the NFL world, reminding everyone why the offseason is often as thrilling as the games themselves. The evolving narrative promises more drama, surprises, and above all, intense competition in the months to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.